All right, welcome to the Trenchless Table. Today, we've got Shane Reed with us here from CTR Coatings out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Got it right today. So at the Trenchless Table, we're going to talk about your entrepreneur journey, how you got where you're at today, and we're going to wrap in some skilled trades, talk about this generation that we need desperately to join us in the underground infrastructure space. So today, we just want to kick it off with a little bit of conversation, Shane, about your background. So how did you get where you're at today with CTR Coatings? Give us the 30,000-foot view from high school to current day in less than 27 minutes.
So Dad started building subdivisions from the ground up. So stormwater, sewer, roads, and then I was about 14. I started helping him on the job sites, running heavy equipment, laying the water line, sewer line. So that was always during the summer. Got into college, same thing. Went to Indiana University for college for business management, which kind of helped me in the position that I am today. It was environmental business management. Right after college, did sales for coating system in Kentucky. That was a little hard just because I was super young. No one wanted to listen to me. So I took it a little bit further and decided that I needed to be on a spray crew and actually learn the job. So about 2010, we moved down to Tennessee. And from that point, we're on one crew is my dad and I and one other guy started spraying manholes. It was a little rough at first, big learning curve. Spray a couple manholes a day, and then rest of the day working on guns and pumps. And say first year we didn't do too well. A lot of learning curves there, but the first job we got was Krispy Kreme, $1,500.
Nice.
Down in Chattanooga. And then second job.
You haven't had a Krispy Kreme since then, have you?
Oh,
I'm thinking it was part of the payment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So real quick, I'll not to cut you off, but you started the company CTR Coatings in what year?
2010.
2010 in Knoxville.
In Knoxville.
And so since 2010, you're now 14 years later.
Yep.
15. Sorry.
Time flies, having fun.
Time flies.
Welcome to 2025.
So you have 15 years of experience in the infrastructure coating space.
In the coating. Yep.
Is that what you wanted to be when you grew up?
No. No. I mean, any kid, right? I mean,
Right.
You don't know what you want to be.
Right. What'd you think you wanted to be?
A dentist.
Oh. Yeah. All right.
Not at all what we're doing.
No, that's not close.
So you go to IU. Was that my generation? That was just the thing to do, and I think we're similar in generations. Was that the thing to do, or was it I'm gonna learn this so I can come back home to help mom and dad?
No, I really thought I would find my own space, my own journey. But what I realized my freshman year in college is the reason I was there was actually to learn how to interact with other people.
Okay.
That's what I took away from college was interaction. Because I was a super shy kid, didn't really talk to anybody. Played sports, worked in my car. That was it. But yeah, when I went to, Indiana University, it was a big eye opener for me because I had to step out of my shell just to meet people. Which in our industry, that's a big thing, right? It's learn how to talk to people.
Yeah. Do you think you could have gotten almost the same takeaways had you just moved to Bloomington and gotten a job and just interacted with people, or do you not regret college at all?
I don't regret college at all.
Good.
I went in there, some guys or kids or wherever, they want that safe space, so they'll bring people from their hometown and they're going to be roommates with them. I went in not knowing anybody. I didn't want to know anybody. So day one, walk in, meet my new roommate. And it just went from there. So end up buying a house or renting a house, and 5 guys I didn't even know. It's the great learning curve.
Yeah.
And then it helped me realize like backgrounds of different people coming in and where people come from. And that's definitely helped me today.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Hey, real quick, one thing I forgot to do was introduce you two. So maybe I should do that real quick. So
All good. Jumped right in. I'll do it. I'm Cole Andrews. I'm with Advanced Rehabilitation Technology. We're here at OBICcon 2025. Obviously, we have Dustin with OBIC and ART. There's kind of some overlapping here. Lee also has some overlap. Lee?
Yeah, I'm Lee Drugan. I'm with OBIC and ART, and we're at the Trenchless Table today.
Well, I just, we jumped right into the conversation, and I got excited because I've known Shane pretty much since he started with Troy and Charlotte. And so family-run business. Mom is the majority owner, WBE operation. So that in itself adds a cool aspect to your guys' spaces as a whole. But tell us about being part of the family and how that journey's been over 15 years.
It was nice, when you're first, you got so much excitement when you're first getting into a new company. Obviously there's some learning curves. Working with families is not easy. Everybody's got their own opinions and how things should be ran, but at the same time, you're growing. You're going to succeed or fail together, and you don't want to fail because everybody's in the same pot. So you push for success.
I want to jump in here because I'm surprised at how many, if not all of the companies are family owned in the space. And it seems like everybody from the family contributes in some way. I don't know of another industry where it's really that prevalent for a family-owned company to succeed. And I think that's a really cool platform for the next generation of your guys' family. Dustin, same with you. That you have Christy involved in, and I'm sure down the road your kids are going to jump into frontline work.
They're going to start at the bottom. Somebody's got to push the sweeper around.
I've got a couple of kids we can throw right in there in the mix too.
Absolutely. We'll have the cleanest floors in Northwest Ohio.
Yes, we will. But, that's, I don't know if it's a testament to the way things are structured or just the type of people that we attract. But you're family owned, really cool that majority owner is your mom in this scenario.
And that was a big change for her because she worked for a big pharmaceutical company for 24 years.
So what was that conversation like for her to go from that to what?
I actually think it was her idea.
Okay.
It was, Dad had been laying sewer and water line for 30 some years. Just hard work. And we had gotten to a point we needed a change. And Mom, we lived up in Indiana for a while. She wanted to be out of the cold weather. So she's like, let's make a change here. Let's move south. Let's start something of our own so that we can actually pass it on to our kids.
So how did she find out about this space then?
We had some partners that we had already done some rehabilitation with, and we took it from there. And I guess everybody's kind of split, and we took our territory and started from there.
Because it's a family-owned business, you have the ability to kind of manipulate culture to where you need it to be. What would you say, or how would you synopsize? That's not a word. How would you summarize CTR's culture today? Because you guys are in Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Carolinas.
Yep.
That's a big territory. It's a lot of bodies to manage, a lot of different opinions you've already mentioned. What does culture look like with CTR?
Very family oriented. So when I'm hiring somebody or I talk, to new guys coming in, because we all have new guys that are turnover, right? They're all 18, 19, 20 years old. First thing I tell them is, I'm going to treat you like family as long as you treat me like family. And that's how I run our business, is because, we've got 25, 30 guys. It's not very many, right? But I want the respect and I will give you respect. And I think that's the way things should be ran. And the guys are going to work harder for you if you know that you're going to take care of them. And at the same time, you kind of hold each other accountable. Even so, I've got my brother working for us too, and even with family, you hold each other to a higher standard. You have to, because we've kind of all talked about it. But if your family members aren't pulling their weight, then the other guys don't want to pull their weight. So everybody's got to work harder.
And maybe you covered it, but in that transition from college to 2010, start of Coatings, did you try anything else? Was there any kind of trials of different professions?
Not for me. No. Well, I did the sales, but it was in the same industry. I kind of just stuck with it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to a lot of people on the road. I didn't have very good success. I mean, I was 21, 22, talking to 60, 70-year-old guys. They didn't want to listen to a 22-year-old. But it taught me a life lesson of, just keep pushing. Learn more, show what you know, and you'll succeed.
Did you have a go-to for breaking down that door?
It was more or less falling back on, so 8 to 10 years of actually laying sewer and water line. That was kind of my end to show that I'm not just a kid from college. I've had experience. I know what they've been through, and I can help them because I can at least talk the lingo and not just come in and go, "Hey, I've got this product. Do you want to buy it?" I came in a lot of the times of how can I help, or can we at least go out and pop some manholes or look at your sewer system and let me take a look at it. Let's see what's going on.
Oh, yeah, we see that a lot in it seems young people and women in our industry. If they don't know what they're talking about and can't talk the lingo, they can't last. But you get a knowledgeable young person or somebody with some life experience, or a woman who really understands the industry, and they can kill it. I mean, I'm sure your mom is probably pretty well versed now in this space. And if she sat around a table like this with a bunch of dudes talking about the space, she could probably...
We would look dumb.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. and that's like, it's a piece of ammunition for your company. It's a really great piece to have. It makes it a lot easier to sell, makes it a lot easier to work with, because those municipalities or anybody that you're working with understands it across the board. You guys know what you're doing.
It's nice too, we're the true woman-owned business, I guess is what you could say, because she's actually there working and people talk to her, trade shows, sometimes it's kind of we're woman-owned business, but they're not really involved, but she's truly involved.
She really is. She has she runs a tight ship for sure. Talk to us a little bit about working with your dad. Troy is just happy-go-lucky. Every time I see him, I get a big hug, and
You get a kiss? Kiss on the cheek?
I was going to ignore that part, but yes, I get a kiss on the cheek from Troy. And so what's it like working side by side with your dad? You guys get along? You guys get after it together, or get after each other?
All of it. All of it.
Yes.
95% of the time, yes, we're fantastic. We work great together. Obviously, you're going to have differences of opinions, how things are ran or you want done. I think it was like year 3 or 4 in when I was taking control over scheduling and stuff like that. I may have told him, a customer, hey, we're going to be here next week. And then dad comes in next hour and say, hey, we're going over here. Like, okay, we got to figure this out. But it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
No, we work great together. I love my dad. He's very happy-go-lucky, pushes for everything, wants everybody to succeed, helps anybody that he can. He's stepped back a little bit, and he wants me to take over the company, so he's kind of let me take the reins a little bit and do my own thing.
Yeah, that's good. And I think that it seems like you've got a lot of good momentum right now. Things are going well, and so quite a bit of growth in your horizon. You got some good stuff happening in front, but then also you've got this piece of, are the parents going to retire someday, and are you guys starting to work through that transition of what that looks like?
Yes. So that's a hard transition, I
Absolutely.
think, because you don't know. There's not a hard date.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's more. I think that's a feeling of like this is the right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now, I think we still got a few years.
Okay.
Good. A few years of transitioning, which is good. You're not rushing anything. You need to be prepared at least. But yeah, growth in general. We have 9 crews out there. I'm looking for, add another 2 to 4 definitely by the next 2 years.
Wow, that's great. That is good growth, going from 8 to 12 and adding a couple per year. So you're looking at 20+% growth year over year. So that's a fantastic model, and that's something I think is absolutely achievable. And so obviously in this space, because it's wastewater driven, potable water driven infrastructure, the need for it is always going to be there. And so tell us a little bit about the team that you've got, and maybe how many people you got on the team, and anybody else that works for you. They've been to college. What type of people are you looking for when you're hiring?
We have roughly 25, 26 guys that are in the field.
Mm-hmm.
We got 3 office ladies that are fantastic. 1 full-time mechanic, and Mike, who's been with me for 13 years now, our right-hand guy. He was in the, he was Air Force.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I've got a couple guys that work for me right now that are in the reserves, which I really love guys that have been in the military just because of structure.
Yeah. And your brother, right? He was,
My brother was a Ranger.
A Ranger, yeah. He was in the thick of it.
Yeah. So I'm glad actually, he's back home.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a few years since he's been back home, but that was stressful.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, the guys I really look for is the motivation, the drive,
Mm-hmm.
the want to. When I'm interviewing guys, if they're just like, man, I just need a paycheck, it's usually probably not the guy I'm just hiring.
Yeah.
I want the guys that want to push and like, man, I want to make something of myself. I want to do something. I'm tired of just sitting around.
That could be the best part about being in business and having employees is seeing that transition from when they come in from maybe you can take a second chance guy, somebody that's just not had an opportunity, and you see them start to bloom and start to be successful. They get some money build up, they buy a new vehicle, buy a house, and it's through just their hard work and grit.
Good example, that would be Marco, who's downstairs right now with me. It was just happened once, I don't know, it was year 3 or 4. I was eating lunch at Qdoba,
mm-hmm.
and he took my order at Qdoba, and I just leaned over the counter. I was like, "You want a real job?"
Yes. Nice.
He had some, broken English at the time, but I could just tell he was like a fantastic kid.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, come sit down at the table with me when, you get a second." And of course, his boss came over and yelled at me for talking to his employees. But he followed me back to the shop, and he was at the time working 3 jobs to support his family. His mom, brother, sister, and his own family.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Stop all that, work 1 job, come with me and we'll take care of you."
Yeah.
And he's year 10 and
That's awesome.
succeeding. It feel good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'd like to have him at the Trenchless Table someday to
Yeah.
hear the other side of that story, and what the trades have provided him post that interaction, post that ballsy move by you.
Yeah.
And to feel that something in your gut and just kind of move on it. and provide an opportunity. It'd be really cool to hear his side of that story as well and what the trades have done. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that salesman in the Carolinas? He's a character. I met him last year around this time, OBICcon 2024, and I just want to say he's definitely a character. If you have any choice stories or just how you guys operate, I'd love to be all ears.
And while you're thinking of that, we need him at the Trenchless Table to talk about his first interaction coming to WEFTech and meeting the rest of our team.
Yeah.
Mike Hoffmaster. But go
I
ahead.
don't know that story.
I won't do it justice. I won't do it
Stay tuned for the
justice.
episode.
No, Neil's a great guy. Very big personality.
Yep.
But he's very respectful at the same time. That's how he gets the jobs, man.
Yep.
Goes out
You could
there.
tell talking to him. He was equal parts goofy,
Yeah.
as intentional with his words and his time and stuff like that. So I don't mean to any malice or anything.
No, it's a country, country Southern kind of personality. So it's very upfront, in your face, which I enjoy because I like the bluntness. That's what the guys in our industry, they like it too. They want, what can you help me with? And I don't need all the sugar coating, But again, he does like take him out to meals and golfing a lot, and that's Neil, man. I got last couple of years I've had to tell him to stop selling for a minute because he does. I gotta let the reins go a little bit because I gotta give him some more trucks. He's hit 10,
awesome.
15% of the Carolinas, and
I mean, from the OBIC side, what are you waiting on? That's what I want to know.
it's all about
gas,
the
man.
trucks.
All gas,
about
man.
the trucks. I'm getting there.
I'd come up here for a couple months and sell some different territory.
Yeah. Now he keeps asking me. He's like, "When are you gonna give me some more trucks?" I'm like, "I'm working on it. I'm working."
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got one for you. Give me your best job and the worst job you've ever done. Let's hear both sides of it.
Worst job meaning the hardest, or
Whatever pops in your mind when you think, man, that had to have been the worst thing, the worst job we ever did. Could be, we've heard anything from almost having heat stroke.
who hasn't?
Yeah, right. Just can't get the thing to stop leaking.
Krispy Kreme donut.
Yeah. What's it? The Krispy Kreme donut.
No, I want to say, well, my dad would say the best job would be our third job ever because that's how we really started. That was, we went from the $1,500 Krispy Kreme to $10,000 right in our backyard to a $1.1 million job. That's
Jeez.
how we started.
Jeez. Literally hit the ground running, hit a home run. I mean, he got a single, a double, and a grand slam. I mean, not even grand slam, but just home run. It just
How did you guys even manage that? I mean, being your third job, that had to have been a lot of material.
Luckily, it was in our backyard, so there wasn't a whole lot of traveling. Everything was, 20 minutes away from the shop. But that was 6-7 days a week for about 6 months. Because there's one truck.
Mm-hmm.
The worst or hardest, so we worked in Memphis, right along the river, Front Street. We had to, no one else would take this job. Too dangerous. Manholes 70 to 90 feet deep, right beside the river. And they would chamber. So it's not straight up and down. It'd be like they come down, they go to the right and then drop down. You open up another gate and then you go down again. There was triple safety. We had to have lights on our hoods, lights down in the structures, walkie-talkies, double walkie-talkies because we dropped some while you're down there. A crane up top to hold you plus a tripod. But once you get past that 20, 30 foot, it's pitch black. But we were there for 2 or 3 months working on 4 holes. Just the safety aspect of that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, yes, it was probably the worst but that's on our books that CTR can do this.
Yeah.
And we did do it. No other company would touch it.
Yeah, what a testament to you guys to overcome something like that and figure it out.
Yeah.
Probably something you guys can just say, hey, look, we've done this. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. We'll hire you.
It wigs me out thinking about being that far underground, to be honest.
I'm way too claustrophobic.
I mean, only
for that.
been in about an 8-footer.
Right. You don't make people do those jobs. You have volunteers.
Sure.
So Marco was one of my volunteers, and I had a couple other guys. Because if they did not feel comfortable going down that far, that we're not putting them in a situation. So as a company, you have to, you're not taking those jobs unless you talk to your guys like, would you guys feel comfortable working in this environment?
I'm sure as a family-owned business, owners, operations, you probably slept a little easier when that job was complete.
Yeah.
And you moved on to the next one, knowing your guys are not going that far underground.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that we get into. I mean, going underground, fixing pipes, middle of cities where they're shutting down 2 or 3 blocks, no movement because pipes are falling apart, and we go in and fix them. Those are crazy too. But yeah, that's say number one job and probably the worst one right there.
Well, that's good stuff today, Shane. I appreciate you joining us here at OBICcon this year, and also coming to the Trenchless Table and having this conversation. So we look forward to having more conversations with you. Make sure that you ask Neil about WEFTEC up in, I think that was down in New Orleans. And it's a great story, and I can't even do a good impression of it.
Okay.
He's the only man that can regurgitate that well. So it's a good story, and we look forward to having you back at the table soon.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.